Hello, Sue. Sue Bell, or is that Susan Bell?
Susan, well, Sue Bell, it's fine.
Sue Bell. Now, I've known you probably for a couple of years, and you've been developing something called butterfly technology in that time. And we're sitting here with actually quite a few tubes and bits and bobs laid out, and we're thinking of doing a demo of butterfly technology, which is a, have I got this right? It's a new kind, an innovative kind of fitting that goes inside of a dispensing tube, like a tube of toothpaste, to make it dispense better. Is that the right idea?
Well, it's a soft, flexible insert that you put into a tube after filling, and it moves along the tube, guaranteeing that you use every last drop, rather than leaving behind 10% as most people do in their tubes these days.
Okay, so you somewhere along the line you found out that people are wasting 10% of their expensive creams or their toothpaste or whatever because it's not coming out of the tube. So how did it actually come from you realising that as being the issue out in the marketplace to you then developing butterfly technology? What happened in between?
Well, what happened in between was I took it home, and I happened to have a husband who's from an engineering background and his best friend who's a product designer, and basically we sat down and we experimented with various designs based on a piston-like technology. We looked at the pump dispenser that is currently out there in the market and thought there must be something similar you can do inside a tube. Now, people have tried to get stuff out of a tube before, and probably everyone will be familiar with this, which is a key used to roll.
Oh, that works a bit like the sardine can sort of thing, rolling about. Okay.
But it is a bit cumbersome, and if you are not manually dexterous, it's quite difficult to get on.
Okay, so it doesn't work like that. So you realise that had its limitations.
Yes. We wanted something that enabled people to use a tube completely as normal. They're not having to worry about it, but know at the end that they were going to get every last drop out. So we came upon this flexible insert, which when you were coming towards the end of a tube, or you wanted all the contents at the front end, you pressed on the insert, which is at the end of the tube, and that would move up the tube.
So have we got some here that we can look at then?
I mean, this is what you would probably leave behind in a tube. So
that's a tube of hair something or other, straightening and smoothing.
Okay. But we know because we can see, so we're going to try. But you can see a normal person, if they didn't know, and eventually we know to push it down. Now with the new technology, the device will move down automatically so that your contents will be here.
Because we can see that last bit in the tube there. So that's normally what gets wasted, or at least your hands actually have to be quite strong to get that out of the tube.
Yes, you probably have to bend it here. And it is, and then you
that's
get
exactly what I do.
And look, even when bending it, and then you get the splurge effect. So
okay, so what are you're putting something in the tube that basically dispenses that last bit.
Exactly. Well, if I can show you this is a clear tube.
That's a prototype, is it?
That's a prototype.
Right.
So
a working prototype, as they say.
So we've just taken a tube, and if I just show you, you'd normally dispense a tube like that.
Yes.
When you press on this, it moves the contents up, so you're going to be leaving no product behind it. The way that the device works is it seals, and in previous appearances of it, product went behind the tube, and that was a problem. But this has a patented technology that ensures product doesn't go behind the device, it's always in front of it, and a special nipple that appears out the end of the nozzle, which this one is very close to show you when the tube is empty.
Have you actually got one of the blue things that go in the tube there?
So this again is a prototype.
That's the butterfly technology itself, is it?
Again, it's a prototype, so it's not in its absolute finished form, but as you can see, that's how it works.
Right, okay.
Pushing it ahead.
I've seen the video of it, but actually you just squeezing that gives me the whole idea.
So that's
much
the
quicker.
action.
Okay.
And it moves, and again, in previous technology, the device got stuck in the tube, but this one will be made of a material that will be lubricant enough to move along the tube.
You mean in previous sort of iterations of the prototype as you were developing it?
Yes.
So you had it took a while then and a number of iterations to actually find the form of the butterfly technology that would actually work.
Exactly, the material selection.
Okay.
And again, it's got to be compatible with the actual substance inside the tube, and that's something obviously is a work in progress. But again, there is something satisfying about knowing that you're not going to have to worry about using that last drop, that when finally that last drop is used, you will see a coloured button from the nipple.
Yeah.
This will appear in the tube end, and you will have known you've emptied every last drop. When you think about it, 6 or 7 tubes of 10 to 15%, that amounts to one whole tube of waste product. And
do you know what I'm thinking now is that it's fascinating to look at the technology and how it works, but it can very quickly, for all of us, because we all deal with tubes, we know very quickly what the benefits are as a consumer.
Yeah.
But it feels like that the main challenge is going to be taking that to a potential licensee or a tube maker or a product maker and saying, hey, look, this is the obvious reason why you should include it, because it looks like it's not insubstantial. Does it add to the costs of manufacture?
It's less than a penny on the cost, and also I suppose tube manufacturers pay 3 times as much to make pump dispensers, hand pump dispensers.
And they still work.
And they still work. They have a niche market. There are people prepared to pay more money to ensure they get proper dispensed creams. And I think when you're talking about high value items like face creams, and in particular in medicine, medicinal creams that are very expensive, then people probably will pay more for their packaging if they know that they're going to use all of the product.
Yeah, and there's a mess issue as well, isn't there? Because you're saying the way it dispenses.
Well,
don't necessarily show us that now, because can we talk a little bit about that challenge of getting the potential licensees to sit up and take notice? When you're going along and when you're contacting any of them, and I know that you've contacted some, and there's you have to be careful about what you talk about here, but when you're contacting them, what kind of you're obviously going to be explaining the benefits, but what else are you saying to the potential licensees as the benefits of butterfly technology to them?